Welcome back, guys. This week has definitely been filled with a lot of violence and chaos, but before we get to that, we are finally seeing some arrests happening for people who have been obstructing ICE agents. So if you are one of those people, you should stop now or you could be next. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Breaking this hour, a Fox News exclusive. A pair of medical workers who blocked ICE agents from arresting an illegal immigrant in California are now facing criminal charges.
Reporting we just got within the last hour or so, the two suspects here now both facing federal obstruction charges, and law enforcement sources confirming to Fox News one of them was arrested earlier this morning.
Yeah, Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt, he's got the very latest for us live right now. Jonathan, what are we learning?
Good afternoon, Sandra. Well, this incident happened on July 8th in Ontario, about 30 miles east of Los Angeles. According to the criminal complaint, ICE officers were conducting, quote, roving immigration-related operations when they followed a truck that made a sharp turn into the parking lot of a surgery center. The officers then, quote, decided to conduct a consensual encounter with the three adult males who were inside the truck. Two of them ran. One, who according to the ICE affidavit was, quote, later identified as an illegal alien, ran into the surgery center, and that's where staff at the center got involved. Two of those staff, Jose de Jesus Ortega and Danielle Nadine de Villa, have now been charged for allegedly interfering and trying to block the ICE agents who followed the illegal immigrant into the surgery center. In the video, they could be seen and heard questioning the ICE agents' actions, what they are doing in the center and why they are masked. The complaint says de Villa, quote, wedged herself under Officer 1 and the target alien. And it says, quote, Ortega, who was still standing to Officer 1's left, appeared to grab Officer 1's arm and then his vest. Both Ortega and de Villa shouted at the officer, telling him to, quote, get out and to, quote, let him go. Both were warned by the officer that they should not touch a federal agent. The illegal immigrant was eventually arrested and removed from the surgery center. Immigration activists said at the time the surgery staff did nothing wrong.
Wow.
In no way are they intervening. They're simply exercising their right to privacy. They're exercising their right to know who is in their building. They're exercising the right to know who is in this building with a weapon, right? And I think it's important to note that what they did is commendable, and it is brave.
Okay, very, very brave, guys. Yeah, it was pretty brave at the time, probably. But look at them. Now we have now there are two professionals who have criminal records now for defending some random people who went into their office. And, you know, when they come out, they're probably going to have a hard time finding a job now. You know, probably their life is going to be ruined now from now on. And all for what? Just for defending some, you know, two criminals who went inside of their office, who they know nothing about, who they're never going to see again. And they took it upon themselves to literally defend these people for literally no reason, because they still got arrested and deported. So much for nothing. And I bet they don't feel so good now. But who will feel good now is the citizens of Washington, D.C. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, well, President Trump told reporters plain and simple he is sick and tired of seeing tents full of people right in front of the White House. He believes that his new executive order is going to help people who are homeless get the care that they need and also make city streets safer across the country. But honestly, as you're about to see, not everyone agrees.
Washington needs.
Before President Trump left for Scotland Friday, he once again threatened to take over D.C.
We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over.
The president this time using a federal takeover of Washington because of how it handles homelessness. Trump said he'd remove encampments by the White House and complained to reporters about their optics.
When leaders come to see me to make a trade deal for billions and billions and even trillions of dollars, and they come into this tents outside of the White House, we can't have that.
Makes sense.
It doesn't sound
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Trump's remarks come just one day after he signed an executive order to make it easier for cities and states across the country to remove homeless people off the streets and put them into institutional treatment centers, in certain instances, encouraging the use of involuntary civil commitment. The White House said its new approach will restore public order.
I cannot emphasize enough how damaging this order is.
Jesse Rabinowitz works for the DC-based National Homelessness
How can
Law
this
Center
be damaging?
and said
I don't
institutionalization does not work.
Ethically and effectively, forced treatment doesn't work.
Homelessness is solved instead, Rabinowitz said, by providing folks with housing, support systems, and health care.
Yeah,
This
so let's just
executive
lift them
order
there.
doesn't do any of that. All it does is make it easier to punish people and to institutionalize people who have nowhere else to go.
The president's order also directs federal support to programs focused on rehab and treatment and prioritizes giving grant money to cities and states
How does that sound
crack
bad?
down
Like,
on
that sounds
camping, loitering, and squatting.
Finally, we're going to get these people off the streets. It's incredible how far the Democrats can go. A lot of these people, they literally need some type of medical help. A lot of them are not mentally stable. And I honestly agree with him about opening the mental institutions because we just have a huge problem. Look at the situation in San Francisco and Los Angeles. The governor there is pretty much useless. And so much for paying so much taxes in California, right? They don't even help the homeless there. It's like they literally want to have people in that situation. They're all a bunch of thieves, literally. They just steal your tax money and they leave all these people to suffer pretty much on the streets. And I don't even understand how some Democrats can still disagree with this. Like, what is there to disagree? They're removing people who are suffering. A lot of them are literally suffering because they have mental issues. And, you know, they're giving them another chance so that they can get out of the streets, off the streets, into a better living situation. But no, pretty much they just want to leave them on the streets to suffer there in their little tents, encampments, and you know, it's just pretty insane. But moving on, there's barely any news about this, but President Trump just recently signed an executive order about fentanyl. So fentanyl is actually a huge issue in the United States. It has taken many, many lives. Let's go ahead and take a look.
With the pivotal passage of this bill today, classifying fentanyl as a Schedule I narcotic, we're going to make incredible inroads towards combating this crisis.
It's a huge step against the cartels.
If this would have been signed a long time ago, my daughter would still be here with us.
It's tragic that we have to be here today to advocate for this cause.
I feel so bad for these people, honestly.
All the loved ones that we lost.
We strike a righteous blow to the drug dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years, and very little has been done. And we take a historic step toward justice for every family touched by the fentanyl scourge as we sign the HALT Fentanyl Act into law. Good job. Good job. With this bill, we are officially and permanently classifying all fentanyl-related substances as Schedule I narcotics, which is actually a very big deal. It doesn't sound like much. It's a big deal, as they will tell you, meaning anyone caught trafficking these illicit poisons will be punished with a mandatory 10-year minimum sentence in prison. We'll be getting the drug dealers, pushers, and peddlers off our street, and we will not rest until we have ended the drug overdose epidemic. And it's been getting a little bit better, but it's horrible.
And this is true, guys. This has actually become a huge problem in places like West Virginia, where fentanyl overdoses are like the highest ever. You know, you would think that watching all these images that have come out about Kensington, Philadelphia, would make some Democrats have some humanity and realize that the open borders were devastating to our citizens. And this is literally a result of a horrible job done by the Biden administration to further decay our society. But when we really think who is behind all this, it all takes us back to China. From the disease in 2020 to the food and the products that we get from them, it's all poison. And then the Biden crime family getting all this money from China. And then Trump putting these higher tariffs on them because they refuse to stop fentanyl from coming over here. And you know, and then the cartels bring it over here through the border of Mexico and Canada. You literally can't make this shit up. It's literally like an unspoken language, but we all know that we're pretty much in war with China. And honestly, I think President Trump knew it from the beginning. A lot of changes are happening really quickly, but one that I would say is really positive is another executive order that President Trump just signed in regards to prescription medication. Let's go ahead and take a look.
One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company, is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product. A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40 in the United Kingdom, which is where this gentleman told me he paid a small amount for his shot. But think of that. So $40 versus $500 here. That's not even bad. There are much worse examples. And the weight loss drug, Ozempic, costs 10 times more in the United States than in the rest of the developed world. 10 times more. Why? What did we do? Even though the United States is home to only 4% of the world's population, pharmaceutical companies make more than 2/3 of their profits in America. So think of that. With 4% of the population, the pharmaceutical companies make most of their money, most of their profits.
That's crazy.
From America. That's not a good thing. Now, I think, by the way, pharmaceutical, I have great respect for these companies and for the people that run them. I really do. And I think they did one of the greatest jobs in history for their company, convincing people for many years that this was a fair system. And nobody really understood why, but I figured it out. For years, pharmaceutical and drug companies have said that research and development costs were what they are, and for no reason whatsoever. They had to be borne by America alone. Not anymore, they don't. This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is in many ways nastier than China. We've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. Biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to tell those countries, like those represented by the European Union, that, that game is up. Sorry. And if they want to get cute, then they don't have to sell cars into the United States anymore.
And guys, this is actually huge because it'll save us thousands of dollars in medication. And not only that, but what I really like about this is that he's actually going to facilitate generic medication, which can literally cost you up to 80% less than the original one, but it actually does the same thing. So, I mean, when, I used to be in California, I used to go to Mexico a lot, and I would, go to the doctor there too because it was cheaper. And I would also buy medication there. And if in Mexico, if I would buy like the branded one, it would be like $50. But then if I wanted to buy the generic one, it would be like $20, something like that. And they actually over there have little like pharmacies where all they carry is generic. So, they actually promote that a lot over there. And I mean, it makes sense because imagine with the income that people have in Mexico, like they literally won't be able to afford, medication. So, I can see how they actually have that system over there because of the same reason, which, I mean, I agree. We should have this here. I honestly think that we should have like a free market where like people can just walk into any health place that they want and then they all compete against each other with prices, right? And because I think that will be like the best transparent way that people can actually feel like they're not getting taken advantage of. Because if somebody doesn't, if somebody's too expensive, then they can just go to another person, nothing's going to force you to be there. Because right now with the health insurance that we have, like we're pretty much forced to go to certain doctors. Sometimes we don't even like our doctors and we're forced to keep going there because that's the only doctor that our insurance covers, which is pretty stupid. And I don't even know if they're going to be changing that. I hope they do. But why have they been doing this for so long? Like, why do we have to pay so much more money than the other countries? Like, what have we done to them? Just like President Trump said, we are pretty much their slaves. They're just like, we'll give the other countries a good price, but we'll just let America pay the difference, right? Well, no, that ends now. But moving on to more crazy things. If you guys didn't see that video roaming around about this sicko who literally just went into a stabbing spree in a Walmart in Traverse, Michigan, then you guys should probably see it or not, because it is pretty graphic. I actually did place it on YouTube as a reel and as a short, and they took it off actually. So yeah, so I'm not gonna be showing you guys that today, but this is a reminder of why we need mental institutions literally in America, because there's crazy people like that they just go on a rampage, you know, killing people and stabbing people and doing all kinds of crazy things. You should probably not even go to Walmarts anymore if you don't have to, because it seems like Walmarts are just kind of like the epicenter of all kinds of violence and stuff. But, you know, that's just my opinion. And moving on to more crime this week, does it seem like white people are getting targeted more because of their skin color, or is it just me? Let's go ahead and take a look.
Black man, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Smack that in his fucking mouth.
Wow.
Don't try to understand why he believes in MAGA or the white replacement theory or why black people deserve. Stop trying to understand this shit. It's 2025. The Civil Rights Act was 60 years ago.
This dude.
If they don't get it by now, they're not gonna get it. They don't want to get it. And since they don't want to get it, they can get these hands. That's it. Stop trying to prove why you should exist, black man. And just exist.
Didn't do, just exist.
Just exist. Beat them at existing. That's it. We're not trying to prove our existence anymore. We're not trying to prove why we're worthy anymore. We're just going to beat you at existing. I wish, trust me, I love people. I want to be a peaceful person.
Yeah,
I know you want to too, black man. But there was a time and place where our ancestors had to fight for their freedom. And if you ask me, based upon who's in office, based upon who donated to that person's campaign, based upon who's in the cabinet or the fucking administration, now is the time to start fighting for our freedom.
The Democrats.
We're not compromising with white supremacy.
White supremacy.
That's dead. Black man, smack that his mouth next time he play with you. Real shit. Smack
Promoting violence,
in his
guys.
teeth. Not teeth. Teeth. With an F.
Wow. And that's weird, because wasn't a white man named Abraham Lincoln the one who liberated the slaves? Most of these people are literally Democrats, and the Democrats were literally the ones that owned the most slaves, and they were the ones opposing Abraham Lincoln every step of the way. And not to mention, they're actually the ones who created the KKK and created the Jim Crow laws that literally restricted the rights and freedoms of black people. So don't listen to this guy and end up like these people in Cincinnati who violently attacked a group of white people. And I can't show you guys a video for obvious reasons. It's pretty graphic and I don't want YouTube to take it down. But, you know, I will show you some pictures here about what happened. And, you know, it's just incredible, guys, the way that these people are acting. You know, these are the same people that cried about discrimination and how, you know, people were racist towards them and that there was all kinds of violence towards them. But then now they're becoming the bully. But this is the America that the Democrats created. They fill the African American people's hearts with all kinds of hate and make them believe that they were the victims of all this. And this is the result: white people being attacked without mercy and nobody doing anything about it. And as you can see right there, like, I feel so bad. Look at that girl. Like, she literally is just like, this guy punched her so bad on the face that she just fell straight to her back. And her eyes are open, but she's just kind of like out. Like, she doesn't know what's going on. She's knocked out. And then you see this other guy on the white shirt. He's literally trying to protect his head. But no matter where he's trying to like protect himself, he just keeps getting hit because there's just so many people attacking them at the same time. Like, this is literally, I feel so bad for these people. Honestly, this was just something that it was like savage. Like, when I saw the video, I honestly felt so hopeless because I wish there would have been like somebody there, cops or something, that would aid them so that they wouldn't get hit so bad. Not to mention, there was like 100 people there and only one person called the cops. Like, even if these people being attacked had said something to them that triggered them, like, there is no excuse for this amount of violence. Literally, there's no excuse. I don't care if you're white, black, or in the middle, or whatever you are. You know, there's no excuse for this kind of violence. But then look at the police chief. She's literally downplaying it. Like, oh, you guys don't know everything that happened. Like, how can you excuse this type of violence? These people were literally on their own there, getting attacked by this huge crowd. And somehow there's some type of like excuse for this. I wish you guys could see the video, because honestly, the amount of violence that took place is incredible. You guys could see it on X, so that's where I actually saw it. But they don't allow it on YouTube, so I can't show it to you guys, unfortunately. But also, there's like women, guys. Women getting involved in this too. Like, how are these people? Like, I don't understand. Like, you could see like some of the girls there, like, you know, hitting the guy, hitting the girl, and they're like, you know, savagely hitting them. Like, I don't, like, and look at this girl right here. She literally started like punching the girl there, and then, you know, somebody grabbed her by the hair and then her wig fell off, which that is pretty funny actually. And look at this girl, like, she's literally on stands right there. She looks like she's like a boxer or something, just, you know, going very, very wild. It's crazy. And it does appear like they did catch a couple of the people that were involved, but they literally gave a $400 bond to one of them, and he's out already. So much for justice. But anyways, it appears like African American people are now creating their own little communities where they can get away from white people's violence, because they're just abused so much by us that they can't take it anymore. But we'll see, guys, because they're usually the ones committing crimes against each other. But we'll see, guys, how this turns out. And that is it, guys, for today's video. I want to thank you so much for staying till the end. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. I really want to hear from you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.